When it comes to home additions or remodels, the city's inspection department requires homeowners to obtain a permit before major changes.
A homeowner can get the permit, but the homeowner is going to have to sign an affidavit stating that they're going to get licensed contractors to do the job.
Safety is the most important feature with inspections, and the department makes sure the building is in good condition throughout the process.
The inspections are one big time following minimum code, and the code is safety. You know, we're here for the health, welfare, and the safety of the public.
All buildings in the city and county are expected to be up to a minimum code which ensure the safety of everyone that goes into that building.
We're the cheapest insurance they're going to ever get. The purpose of the inspection permit is so we can do inspections according to the code.
For more information, contact the inspections department at 229-259-3506.
Recently, members of the Valdosta Fire Department went through a live training burn, which is the best type of training they can get to keep citizens safe.
Doing a live fire training event utilizing an acquired structure that we received through the neighborhood development program. We worked with Mr. Richard Joyner, and he's demolishing the house. In turn, he's going to build a new one here for the neighborhood. So we killed two birds with one stone again, and we were able to help him in the demolition process and able to get some training out of it also.
Firefighters appreciate being put into this type of environment because it prepares them and gives them peace of mind when a similar situation happens in the real world.
I can tell my wife, hey, I'm getting better and better to where you don't have to worry about me. When I'm out here, I'm coming back home, safe and sound. So. Perfect. We got good guys out here training us, lieutenant, chief, just all out here making sure we understand what we're doing. They briefed us before, and of course we're gonna get briefed after on what we did and what we could have done better on. So it's all a learning lesson. It's all lessons to be learned.
By having this type of training, members of the VFD will be better prepared to protect all citizens in Valdosta.
A lot of our training is conducted in a fixed facility, burn building, which we have over on Cypress Street. Anytime we're able to utilize a structure, standing structure, it is the best training we can ever get, but also in turn it's the most dangerous training that we can ever do.
For more information, contact the Valdosta Fire Department at 229-333-1835. As a gift to the K-9 unit, members of Messiah Lutheran Church here in Valdosta gave 8 cooling vests to the dogs of VPD.
The cooling vests are a safety and preventative for heat exhaustion and heat stroke should the dogs encounter a long track, a deployment that's, when we say long, 15 minutes is a long time for a dog in this heat. So it's a preventative to help the dog should their heat and their temperature rise. You can just simply put the vest on the dog and pour water on it.
Members of the church hold fundraisers every year and give back to the community. This year they decided to help the Valdosta Police Department.
And what do you do with the therapy dog?
Every year, the group that I work with, in fact everybody in the church pretty much, we have 2 yard sales, we have 2 craft bazaars. And we make up to $6,000 a year, and we donate all of that locally. We don't keep that money because we look at whatever's going on in the community and we give back to the community. We're just a small church, around 100 people, but we're here to serve.
These dogs are a part of the department, just like any other officer. And ultimately, the vest will keep the members of the department safe.
And what it does is it evaporates the heat from the dog because they can't sweat, they have to pant. So this, in effect, just evaporates the heat quicker than it naturally would without the vest. And this is just another level to prevent that heat exhaustion from getting worse. And that's really what it does. It's just another level of prevention to help them not get that heat stroke.
Working dogs love to work, and they will work till they die.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem, and that's why this is going to help keep them alive a lot longer.
For more information, contact the Valdosta Police Department. On May 30th, Lowndes County held their annual meeting previewing hurricane season with the National Weather Service out of Tallahassee. The meeting included many groups from the area that would be involved if disaster struck.
Our response and recovery efforts are really predicated on the relationships that we have. And fortunately, we don't have a lot of things throughout the year, so this is the one time of year that hopefully, this is the only time of year some of these people get together. So having those relationships, so when something does happen, we know who to call to make sure that our citizens get the help that they need.
Special Operations Captain Jeff Thibodeau appreciates that all these groups can meet before something bad happens.
Big plus to have this meeting here through Lowndes County. Just being able to get in here and getting the information that you need and them coordinating the information in a timely manner and a very informative manner helps us prepare for what may happen in the near future.
Having this meeting each year benefits all citizens of Lowndes County.
The community has been very complimentary of the efforts that all of our first responders have put forth, and that doesn't just happen. You have to plan together, you have to train together, so that when the time comes you can work together and work together efficiently.
For more information, contact Lowndes County Emergency Management at 229-671-2790.
The Valdosta Fire Department spent their Memorial Day weekend helping children who have suffered from burn injuries in a fire by hosting their annual boot drive to raise money for the Georgia Burn Foundation.
As firemen, our job is to help others, to make things better. And anytime we can do something to make things better, that's what we like to do. The Burn Foundation is close to our heart because they benefit us with fire prevention programs and give us material to help educate kids so maybe they won't get burned.
This annual boot drive gives to children in need and also raises money to help educate kids on fire safety.
And anytime we can do something to make things better, that's what we like to do. The Burn Foundation is close to our heart because they benefit us with fire prevention programs and give us material to help educate kids so maybe they won't get burned.
Thanks to this fundraiser, the Georgia Burn Foundation can successfully continue to keep kids safe in the events of a fire.
And the fire service and whole will never call somebody or send letters and stuff like that because we want you to understand that where your money is going to the right place.
For more information, contact the Valdosta Fire Department at 229-333-1836.
The Valdosta Fire Department welcomes new Fire Chief Brian Boutwell, former Assistant Chief to Freddie Broom.
I have over 23 years vested with the city, have supported the city and the community, and so this City of Valdosta Fire Department is more than just co-workers, it's family. And so to be given the opportunity to not only stay with co-workers is to finish out my career with family.
Chief Boutwell has more than 2 decades of experience and has spent his entire career with the City of Valdosta.
So anytime that I feel like you step up in another position, then there's a little bit of, am I ready? A little bit of a question. The support that I've received from not only my department, but the city officials, the community city manager, is what makes me know that I'm ready to step up and take the lead as Chief of Valdosta Fire Department.
He is also more than qualified to take over the department, thanks to his certifications, including completing the Executive Fire Officer Program, which only 73 people in the state of Georgia have completed.
It's something that I've prepared for. I feel like that I've prepared for. Like I said, I'm really honored in the support that I've received from the members of the fire department as well as city officials, and the community outreach has been phenomenal. All of those things together have brought me comfort and excitement in taking a new role.
Metro 17 would like to congratulate Brian Boutwell on becoming Valdosta's new fire chief. and welcome back to City Focus. I'm here with Scott Fowler from the Utilities Department. He's going to talk to us a little bit about utilities in general. We're here at the Withlacoochee Wastewater Treatment Plant, and we're, like I said, Scott's, a lot of people, when they think about, city departments, think about police and they think about fire, but utilities is very important. Tell us a little bit about what goes on in the utilities department.
Well, a couple things. We do water and sewer. We got two wastewater plants actually. The water plant, we have their maintenance crew. They handle 35 lift stations. We got the GIS department. It's there's a lot goes on.
Okay, and water is our most important resource. Explain a little bit about what you guys do in order to make sure we have clean drinking water and make sure that the wastewater goes to is being disposed of properly.
Right. Well, Jason Barnes and his staff at the water plant do an excellent job, but as far as the environmental department goes, we make sure that there's backflow devices on every commercial building, and those cross connections is what keeps our water supply from being contaminated.
Okay. And I guess any other services that you guys provide for the citizens of Valdosta?
Meaning just GIS department, the maintenance for, like I said, there's 35 lift stations, so the maintenance crew's outstanding. Tom and his crew does an outstanding job. They provide maintenance here for the Withlacoochee plant, the Mud Creek plant, and the water plant. So.
Gotcha. And I guess tell us a little bit about, what this plant here, it's a new plant, kind of what does it do?
Well, Michael get into it in just a little while, the assistant superintendent out here, but this plant was put online in 2016 after the renovation, and we moved from the old plant. But this is an SBR facility, so we sort of implemented when we switched over to this in 2016. Yeah, so this was it's a massive upgrade for the city, which was a huge accomplishment, and it's actually going really, really well.
Okay, and I guess. Once again, a lot of people don't think about where their water comes from.
Right.
Out there at Guest Road, what kind of numbers do we do as far as water to citizens and customers?
I think last year the water plant actually generated about 3.9 billion gallons of water. There's over 430 miles of water line within the city that with the environmental department ourselves, we try to, with the backflow devices, to try to keep it safe.
And you guys are always maintaining sewer lines, doing what we can to make sure that water goes where it is. Can you talk about a little bit about how much sewer lines we have in the city?
Actually the city's got almost 400 miles of sewer line. I think it was 385 miles of sewer line. Got about over 6,000 manholes that they keep up and repair. A lot of people don't know that, but it's a massive undertaking to try to do what they do, but Sheldon and his crew does an outstanding job with utilities.
And those guys are out there working every day.
Every day, after hours,
rain,
weekend,
whatever.
It does not matter.
Yeah.
Don't matter the weather, don't matter the time.
If you could tell citizens one thing about the utilities department that they may not know, what would you say to them?
Just a very, very hard-working staff. I mean, we've got a very good staff that knows their job, know what they're doing. There's a lot that goes on within utilities, whether it's wastewater, water, environmental, GIS, maintenance. There's a lot going on just out of utilities, and we've got a very good crew that works extremely hard to do their jobs.
Scott, I appreciate you coming on and telling us a little bit about utilities department. And we'll be back here, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the wastewater treatment plant.
Hannah complained of a headache. It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. Within a few days, Hannah was in treatment because we were told that the tumor was very aggressive. St. Jude is an asset to the world. The research that is developed here is offered freely. I think it's the kind of place that could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. If those lessons could be learned, this world could be a better place.
And we're back here at the Withlacoochee Wastewater Treatment Plant. I'm with Mike Duvall. He works out here. This plant came online in 2016. Can you tell us a little bit about what the Withlacoochee Wastewater Treatment Plant does?
Well, the Withlacoochee Wastewater Treatment Plant treats about 80% of the residential wastewater of the city of Valdosta. The other 20% goes over to the other wastewater treatment plant. That averages out to about 5 million gallons a day is what we treat here.
Wow, 5 million gallons.
Yeah.
Now, this plant replaces an old plant, and there was issues with a flood years ago that ruined that plant, and this one had to be rebuilt. But this is a state-of-the-art new plant. What does this plant do that the old plant couldn't do?
Well, it provides better flow of the water. It's a force main, so we can actually get the water out of the neighborhoods quicker. The water going into the river is cleaner than the old plant. There's no danger of flooding because we're a mile up the hill from it. And it's just an all-around better system. And it can grow with the city, and it can just handle more water.
So there's room out here for expansion if
Yes.
need be, if the city grows and needs to take care of more wastewater.
Yeah, we can just build a couple more SBRs and put some more filters out, and we're good to go.
Okay. Now this plant runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And as we drove up, we see a bunch of solar panels out there.
Yeah.
Do those solar panels help power this plant?
During peak hours, during the day in the summertime, it can help supplant some of the energy, but a lot of the energy is going directly into the main power lines, and it's helping the main power grid here in Lowndes County.
Okay. All right. We also have a plant across town, Mud Creek, and you talked about it. And you said this plant does 80% of the residential wastewater. So I'm assuming that plant takes care of most of the industrial.
They cover most of the industrial flows out there. It's a different process for industrial than it is for residential. It's just different bugs, as we call them, and that's what they handle.
Yeah, they still clean the water. It's
just
a different process.
The water is still clean. It's just a different process.
Okay. And I guess for anybody who doesn't understand the importance of these two plants, what would you tell them if they didn't know anything about what you guys do here?
Come out and let us give you a tour. You'll see how the water comes in, how it leaves out, and the water is actually cleaner than the river water that we put it into.
Okay. So, anything else you want to add?
No. That's about it.
Well, I appreciate you telling us a little bit about the wastewater treatment plant, and we're lucky to have this new plant that takes care of our wastewater and it gets it out of our houses and we're disposed of safely.
Yeah, well, nobody really knows about us.
Well, I thank you for joining us, and we'll be back here on City Focus.
Your zip code. Just one number different, and you might have a whole other life. Different school, different job, different dreams, different problems. In America, the zip code you're born in can determine your future. The Y works to change that, with programs and services that help everyone thrive, no matter who you are or where you're from. For a better us, support your local Y today.
All right, we're back here on City Focus. I'm here with Joseph Gangler. He's over our FOG program. FOG is like one of those things that we really try to educate people about here at the city. Why is it so important to teach people about FOG? And what is FOG?
FOG is our acronym for fats, oils, and greases. It's a generic term we use for, obviously, fats, oils, and greases, flushable wipes, anything that can cause problems to the city sanitary system, our sewer system. Obviously, fats, oils, and greases are a big problem. Most of our blockages come from that. And what happens is you pour grease down the line, it gets into the line, it congeals in the line, and it plugs up sewer lines. And the next thing you know, we got sewer blockages back into homes, and it causes us a bunch of headaches.
Okay. And I guess a lot of people, the people who are doing that, either they don't know or they don't think about it. What's the best way to dispose of that stuff?
The best way for the average homeowner to get rid of it is scrape it into the trash. Obviously, if you're using you're deep frying, save the container that the oil comes in, pour it back into the oil, cap it off, throw it in the trash can. If you're cooking things like bacon, steak, meats at render, let it cool in the pan, take it, scrape it out into the trash can. It's the easiest way to get rid of it versus putting it in the sink, hitting it with hot water, because all it's going to do is run down the line. Not only is it going to affect us, it's going to affect the homeowner eventually. So that's the easiest way to get rid of it.
And this is a problem that happens all over the city, every demographic, every class level. People just don't think about it, and they really need to consider what they're pouring down the drain. I guess if you're educating somebody that knows nothing about this, what's your best piece of advice?
If you don't think it should go down the sewer line, if you don't think it should go down the drain, just don't put it down the sewer line. Because eventually it's going to clog up. And a little bit of it, you're not going to think about it too much because it's just a little bit. And what's going to happen is it's going to cause you a problem. It's going to cause us a problem. When we have to fix the line, not only are we fixing our lines, then you're going to have to pay to fix your lines, and you may be the person that has to deal with it. So just think about what you're putting down the lines, whether it's grease, fat, flushable wipes, anything. Just throw it in the trash. Let them dispose of it properly, and then we don't have any problems in our lines.
Okay. And I guess if that issue happens at my house, what kind of problems could that cause me?
Well, the first problem people have is when the toilet doesn't want to go down. And then that's that immediate scare moment when it doesn't want to flush. Once you have that problem, then you're getting a plumber involved. And then once you have your plumber involved, you got a pricey bill because they're going to have to flush all your lines out. Then we're dealing with it on our end because we're having to pay crews to go out there and clean our lines, which is going to cause higher rates for us because we're paying crews to fix the problem that the homeowner caused. And we're not blaming the homeowners, obviously. What we want to do is we want all the homeowners, the customers in the city to understand that you're customers, but you have to understand that you're also a stakeholder in our system. You want to make sure that you're taking care of it just as well as we are, because the less cost that you cause us by pouring those products down the line means we don't have to raise rates to keep fixing the system, which is going to keep the rates down low, and everybody's happy.
And I guess my last question is, there are some people who think, oh, I'm just going to pour a little bit down the drain, it won't hurt. What do you say to that person?
A little bit goes a long way, and eventually everybody pays the price. Because a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, and a little bit there eventually causes the big problem down the line, and everybody's going to be affected for it. And we don't want anybody to have to shut down businesses. We don't like to close off roads, and what's going to happen is that's the problem. And you don't want your nice little park or spring that we've got a problem down into. So it's not a little bit.
Yeah. And I can see that Scott's got some photos over there. Can I see those? This is what happens, right? When people pour grease down the line.
That's a general drain line, and that's what happens when you pour grease and fats and oils down the drains. This is just a general sewer line of what kind of problems we've had before. And the next one we've got, this is actually a residential line that we were given. A plumber sent this to me. This hadn't even got to the city of Valdosta yet. This is just on the property side. So we're obviously being affected by it, but I don't want to know what their plumbing bill is now, because that's not just a oopsie, let's pour a chemical down there. That's a major plumbing issue to clean all of that system out.
Yeah.
And then the last one is actually I think unless he gave us only two.
There's the last one.
There we go. This was actually sent to me from another municipality and shows, I think that's a 8-inch line that's just complete, looks like dirt, it's actually grease. Just completely stopped up. They couldn't even bust it loose. They had to rip the entire thing out of the ground. They had to cut off service to the entire neighborhood because they couldn't fix it that fast. They had to pull everything out of the ground.
Wow. So I guess the final thing is, people, if it's not water, don't put it down the drain.
If it's not water, don't put it down the drain. If it's not normal waste, don't put it down the drain. That's the big thing we want to go with.
Okay. Well, Joseph, I want to thank you for coming in, teaching us a little bit about fog. We appreciate your time, and we're hoping that people will learn and not put these things down the drain. If it's not water, don't put it down the drain.
Exactly.
Right? And we'll be back here on City Focus.
Keith Jennings, a talented artist from St. Simon's Island, left his mark on the island by carving elaborate faces and trees and dubbing them the tree spirits of St. Simon's Island. The tree carvings have been around since the 80s and continue to grow as more and more citizens participate in this artistic activity. There are about 20 tree spirit carvings scattered around St. Simon's Island, with more being created each year. Searching for the tree spirits is an incredible family-friendly activity all year long. Seeing the trees for the art won't disappoint. Valdosta's beautiful brand new mural painted by Janice Rago, who has been a resident in Valdosta for almost a decade, was unveiled to the public recently.
I lived in New York 10 years before coming here, and Valdosta was, it was a very different dynamic. I grew up in the Department of Defense School, so it was my first public school system and things like that. But honestly, of anywhere I've lived, I've met some of the best friends and people from Valdosta.
The very talented artistic Janice committed a week to this mural, working in the hot weather while also expressing her love for the community through her work.
This idea kind of started from back in college. All I used to paint was flowers. My mom was a florist when I grew up. Flowers have always kind of been the inspiration that I do.
The new mural, located on West Central Avenue, is a gorgeous display embodying the beauty of Valdosta that Janice expressed through her art.
I love this town. It's just, I don't know, it's a way for me to give back to the community too, and something that I love so much, like painting wise. And just, I don't know, I think it is to have something permanent here is amazing.
The City of Valdosta would like to thank Janice Rago for her wonderful work and impact on Valdosta.
Here's what's happening in the city in the coming weeks.
July 15th, Valdosta Housing Authority meeting, 12 p.m. at 610 East Ann Street. Greater Lowndes Planning Commission work session, 5:30 at the South Health District Administrative Office. Keep Lowndes Valdosta Beautiful Board meeting, 5:30 in the City Hall Annex Conference Room. July 16th, Central Valdosta Development Authority meeting, 5 p.m. in the City Hall Annex Conference Room. Valdosta Lowndes County Development Authority meeting, 5:30 at 103 Roosevelt Drive. July 17th, Hospital Authority of Valdosta and Lowndes County meeting, 8 a.m. at SGMC. Deep South Solid Waste meeting, 6 p.m. at the South Georgia Regional Commission. Valdosta Lowndes County Parks and Recreation Authority meeting, 4:30 at 1901 North Forest Street. July 18th, Public Art Advisory Committee meeting, 11:30 a.m. at the Turner Center for the Arts. Food Truck Thursdays in downtown Valdosta, beginning at 5:30. July 22nd, CDBG Citizens Advisory Committee meeting, 5:30 in the City Hall Annex Multipurpose Room. July 23rd, Valdosta Lowndes County Conference Center and Tourism Authority meeting, 8 a.m. at the Conference Center. July 25th, Valdosta City Council meeting, 5:30 in Council Chambers. July 29th, Greater Lowndes Planning Commission meeting, 5:30 at the South Health District Administrative Office. July 31st, Battle of the Badges Blood Drive, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Mathis Auditorium. To stay informed with what's happening in the city, sign up for the weekly e-news blast at valdostacity.com/public-information. This concludes another edition of City Focus. Be sure to visit our website, valdostacity.com. Like us on Facebook, Valdosta City Without Limits. Also like our Valdosta Youth Council page. Follow us on Twitter at City of Valdosta, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Metro 17 Valdosta, to watch City Focus on demand. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on City Focus.